The Victorian Asylum has become a powerful image in the modern imagination, a place where people disappeared from ordinary life. But what actually happened inside a Victorian asylum? Were they places of treatment, punishment, or simply confinement? The answer, as with much of Victorian history, is more complicated than it first appears.
Welcome to Literally Victorian with your host, Matthew Lee Hanson.
Hello and welcome back to Literally Victorian. My name is Matthew and I'm very glad to be with you once again. Now, before the rise of formal institutions, those suffering with severe mental distress were often cared for at home, if families could manage. But not everyone could. As industrial cities grew, Britain faced a growing question. What should be done with those who were considered mentally unwell? Victorian asylums emerged as one answer. At least in theory, they were designed to provide care, safety, and treatment, and some genuinely believed they represented progress, not cruelty, but improvement. This is perhaps the most disturbing question. Who was it that ended up inside? Some patients were severely unwell. They may have experienced psychosis, severe depression, mania, dementia, or hallucinations. Others suffered from conditions that were poorly understood at the time, like epilepsy or brain injuries, postpartum mental distress, learning disabilities, and trauma. And then there were those who may never have belonged there at all. People who were difficult, disruptive, unmanageable, or simply inconvenient. The Victorian definition of insanity could be disturbingly broad. For many patients, arrival at an asylum was frightening. They were entering an unfamiliar institution, removed from family, from routine, from ordinary life. The building itself often reinforced this feeling. They were large, institutional, imposing places. Some Victorian asylums were built in countryside locations. Fresh air and calm surroundings were believed to help recovery. But distance also meant separation. Once inside, the outside world could feel very far away. Contrary to popular belief, daily life inside an asylum was not always chaotic. Routine mattered enormously. Patients were often expected to follow strict schedules for meals, rest, walks, work, and sleep. Structure was considered therapeutic. Many institutions believed purposeful activity could calm the mind. Patients might be involved in gardening, sewing, cooking, and reading. They might work in laundries or workshops. In better-run asylums, staff aimed to create order and stability, at least in principle. But this is where things become darker. Not all patients were calm. Some became violent. Some self-harmed. Some attempted escape. Victorian staff therefore used methods of restraint, sometimes physical. They might have locked rooms or used restraint devices, or kept them in isolation. Not every asylum used these equally. Some reformers strongly opposed harsh restraint. Others relied upon it heavily. This created enormous variation between institutions. Some patients may have experienced care. Others endured fear. One of the greatest problems was overcrowding. As the Victorian era progressed, patient numbers rose dramatically. Institutions designed for hundreds sometimes held far more. Resources struggled to keep up. Even well-intentioned care could deteriorate under pressure. Too many patients, too few staff, too little understanding. And when that happened, neglect became easier. Perhaps the most important thing to remember is this. The Victorians did not understand the brain as we do today. They observed behaviour, symptoms and episodes, but causes remained largely mysterious. Without modern psychology, psychiatry or medication, treatment options were limited. This meant many patients were treated according to theories we would now certainly question. Not always through cruelty, but sometimes simply through lack of knowledge. Behind every statistic was a person, someone's son, daughter, mother, or brother. Some recovered and left. Some remained for years, and some never returned home again. This is what makes the Victorian Asylum so haunting. Not merely the building or the treatments, but the human stories inside. Lives were interrupted. They were sometimes helped and sometimes lost. The Victorian Asylum was not simply a place of horror, nor was it purely a place of healing. It existed somewhere between, a product of its time, built from genuine attempts to understand mental suffering, yet limited by fear, stigma, and an incomplete knowledge. And perhaps that is what makes it so compelling today, because the story of the Victorian Asylum is not only about the past, it is also about how society chose to understand suffering and how easily care and control can become entangled. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel. It's free to do so. Till next time, see you soon.